Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Houston Sports Talk back into the video today. And today the Houston Rockets beat the Utah Jazz 143-105. And they clinched something today we already knew was coming, but it's still good to officially know it's done. It's over with, and the Rockets have clinched the postseason. We already, a couple weeks ago, they clinched, which they still call it postseason. It's still clinching postseason, but they it was a guarantee a couple weeks ago when they won against somebody that they would be in the play and be in the top 10 at the end of the season. But now, with this 50th win of the season, it is guaranteed the Rockets will be in the top 6 in the Western Conference and be in the playoffs. You don't have to worry about the Rockets falling into the top 7 and being in the play-in. That's not happening, and that's great to hear. But I think we all knew that wouldn't happen, but it's official. Rockets are in the playoffs. The real playoffs. Nope, you don't have to go through play-in. 50 wins, first time since 2018-19 season. That 2019-20 team that did go to the postseason and was the 4th seed in the Western Conference were not able to reach 50 wins because it was a 72-game season because the world shut down in March of 2020. But I got to be honest. I think that team probably would have reached 50 wins. Maybe it would have been just at 50 or 51. I think this Rockets team might be able to go out there and might be able to go get a pot. You got 5 games left. You got 5 games left. I think the hope would be to win at least 2 or 3 this game. Two or three of the final 5, if not more. So, but anyways, I think that team probably would have been right around 50, 51. If that wasn't an 82-game season, but it wasn't, and this is the first 50-win Rocket team since 2018-19 season, and that was Chris Paul's last year in Houston. I want to say that team went 55-27. What's really impressive about that is that team, I believe, started like 1-5, 1-6, something like that. But honestly, I don't think the Rockets are good. You'd have to go undefeated just to have 55 wins. You can't even pass that team. At one point I was hoping this team would potentially have the most wins since the 2017-18 65 win season, but that's physically impossible. You can tie with that 2018-19 Rockets team, but you can't pass them since they'd have if the Rockets went undefeated then the season, you'd be right at 55 wins. But yeah, 143-105, another game where you don't have to play any of your starters over 30 minutes. And one of them is going to be getting a night off next game. Dillon Brooks, I'm really, really pissed off about this. I'm not going to lie. And I'm gonna talk about why. Dillon Brooks, 21 points tonight, 28 minutes, 9 for 16, 3 for 8 from 3, 2 rebounds. Really good night for Dillon. But in the first quarter, decided to take a little kick. I don't think it was intentional. I don't think it was something he meant to do. I don't think it was intentional, but I think that it was the right thing to give him a technical foul for what he did. He took a kick at Colin Sexton's midsection for crying out loud. But 16 technical foul in the NBA. If you get 16 technical fouls, you are suspended 1 game. And then if that carries over, if that carries on, you get another 2 technical fouls after that, you're suspended another game. Now, I'm gonna share what I wanted to see with Dillon Brooks. I talked, and it's funny enough, Ryan Holland said this as well tonight. But when the Rockets played in LA Monday night, I was praying for Dillon Brooks to get teed up. You don't want to see, because if Dillon Brooks gets teed up, Luka Doncic is immediately headed to the free throw line, and that's 1 point that's going to hurt the Rockets. But who cares about 1 point? What I wanted to see with Dillon Brooks is, look, after this Utah game, it is nothing but hard games after that. The next 5 games, the Rockets face both LA teams with the Lakers and the Clippers. You face the Warriors, the Nuggets, and the Thunder. There's not one of those games right there in the final 5 games, with most of those games being on the road, that you can look at and say, these are guaranteed wins. So you need Dillon Brooks over the last 5 games of the season against those 5 really good teams in the Western Conference. Really need Dillon Brooks. And so that's why I talked about on Monday night, I got confused thinking that was yesterday because that game was on TNT on a Monday, which is rare. But yeah, on Monday night, I was praying when I did my Rockets pregame. I talked about how I wanted Dylan Brooks to get teed up. I was afraid that it'd get a negative feedback because like I'm praying for something bad to happen for the Rockets. But my whole idea of it was Dylan Brooks gets suspended for the game tonight against the Utah Jazz, where you're facing a 16-60 team that's now 16-61 after this loss, and a team that the Rockets can easily beat without Brooks. The Rockets with Brooks tonight beat them by 38 points. Brooks scored 21. Maybe this would have been a closer game if Brooks doesn't play, and maybe your starters don't have to, maybe your starters have to give you a little bit more minutes than they did tonight. But what does happen is the fact that Dylan Brooks is going to miss a game against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Honestly, I think OKC probably still would have beat. I don't see the Rockets beating OKC Friday night. I hope it happens. And maybe the Rockets' chances weren't great with Dylan Brooks. But I know the Rockets have a shot to win with Dylan Brooks out there in the court with what he does defensively. You need him out there guarding his fellow Canadian with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That is key in the defensive strategy going up against Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the MVP favorite. Then the fact that you're facing a really good Oklahoma City Thunder team who can knock down a lot of threes against you. You need one of your best three-point shooters in Dylan Brooks to match that energy as well. You don't have that. I don't like the Rockets' chances. I didn't think the Rockets had amazing chances Friday night anyways against this Thunder team. But you had a lot better chances with Dylan Brooks out there for you, and that's not going to happen. That's frustrating to see for this Rockets team because he could have missed this one tonight, and the Rockets would have gotten an easy 20-point win without him. And that's frustrating. But now you have a much more harder game in OKC on Friday night. And now you also got to worry over the next couple games about him getting more technical fouls and him missing other games. Because for instance, if Friday night you won't see him in OKC, but then the Rockets play the Clippers after that. I want to say the Clippers or the Warriors are next after that. And then if he were to get into it with someone and gets frustrated ref and gets 2 technical fouls, which would be an ejection, that means he's automatically suspended the next game. So you can't afford to have that happen when you're in the spot right now of last 5 games of the season. You're in a standings fight right now, and you got 5 matchups against 5 really good teams. That is going to be interesting. All right, let's go over some stats tonight. Like I said, no starters played 30 minutes tonight. The guy that played the most was LP, 29 minutes, 6 for 12 from the floor. The one bad thing about this blowout is LP was not able to get a triple-double, 15 points, 14 rebounds, 9 assists. I was watching when LP was trying to get that triple-double. It was frustrating. His 9th assist was a Cam Whitmore layup, and you could just tell that he was going for it. He was, and Jack Lando came in for him. I want to say it was the 9-minute mark, and he was unable to get that. It's unfortunate for LP, but you don't want him to play him. You don't want him to play too much out there. It was a 30-point game when Udoka took out Şengün, and 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, playing the worst team in the Western Conference. If Alperen Şengün gets seriously hurt, a season-ending injury, that's something that you can't come back from, and something that would haunt this team. So it's personal goals are good to see all. And you want to see LP get a triple-double, something I want to see him do more. But when we're talking about the Rockets' playoff chances and want them to have success, the Rockets, their potential chances of success are hurt if Alperen Şengün's playing in a blowout, because he should be getting rest on the bench, because more rest leading into the playoffs is key for him and this team, but also you don't want an injury to happen. But good night for him. Jalen Green, 22 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 7 for 15, 4 for 7 from 3. If he would have played his normal minutes tonight, he probably would have had a 30-point game. He was feeling it. 4 for 7 from 3, 7 for 15 from the floor. 21 points for Dylan Brooks, like I already mentioned. Suspended next game. It's tough. Thompson, I'm not gonna say it a bad night, but he wasn't much involved. You would think that Amin Thompson would be shooting the ball a little bit more tonight with no Fred VanVleet, but 27 minutes, 9 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, only 6 shots, but made 4 of those shots for Amin Thompson. 15 points for Tari Eason, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks for Tari Eason, 7 for 18. And Jabari Smith Jr. had a fantastic rebounding game. He had almost a double. He almost had a double at halftime. I want to say he was. I know he was in double digits rebounds in the first half, but I think he was 1 point shy of having a. I want to say he was 1 point shy of having a double at halftime. But he might have had the double. No, I think it was. I think he had 9 points at halftime. It was like 10, 11 rebounds, something like that at halftime. But only finished the game with 14. That's because another guy who didn't play much in that second half. 15 points and 14 rebounds, though, for Bari. 6 for 16. A terrible 2 for 9 from 3. But outside of his 3-point shooting tonight, Jabari Smith Jr. shot 4 for 7 from the floor. Cam Whitmore and Reed Shepherd stole the show tonight when they came in late in the game, third and fourth quarter. Cam Whitmore played the entire fourth quarter. Reed Shepherd played 9 minutes of the fourth quarter, and they killed it. Reed Shepherd, 5 for 7 from 3, 15 points. 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and this is one thing I got to say. When Reed Shepherd shoots the ball like this, 5 for 7 from 3, do you think about trying to give him potential playoff minutes? That's something I think about when I see Reed Shepherd shoot the ball like this tonight. There is no way the Rockets survive in a playoff series or multiple playoff series if they don't shoot the ball well from 3. And if you have Reed Shepherd give you a couple minutes in a playoff series off the bench per game, and try to get him a couple 3-point shots up a game, if he's going to shoot like this, that could be key. I wonder if that's something, if you're Ime Udoka, you potentially think about giving Reed Shepherd some solid minutes, because you're going to need 3-point shooting in the playoffs badly. And this team suffers from that. And I think with the Rockets with Reed Shepherd, you have to potentially think about giving him minutes in the playoffs. Not a lot, but just a little bit off the bench to try to help you with 3-point shooting, and especially with the night he had tonight. Cam Whitmore was good in the final 12 minutes of this game as well. 4 for 6, 1 for 2 from 3, 11 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, and and that was really it. Jeff Green had 3 points, 6 points for Jock Landale in 20 minutes, 6 points for Aaron Holiday in 13 minutes. It's another guy that you can think about to put give minutes if you want 3-point shooting in Aaron Holiday, but I'd love to see Reed Shepherd just get like 9, like he got 9 minutes tonight. Like if he were to get around maybe 6 to 9 minutes, or around maybe 5 to 8 minutes of playing time in one playoff game, just to try to give him some give him some 3-point shooting opportunities for this team in the playoffs. That might be a solid idea for this Rockets team. But yeah. Good win for the Rockets tonight. Great to see them clinch the postseason. Let me know your thoughts on the Rockets 143-105 win in the comment section. And peace out. Go Rockets.